guys, so we're gonna do a garden tour today and an update on some of the things that we have going on. So my husband and me are doing a thing and we're gonna show you what it is. All right. Alright, we're going to start off this with the two poles that we have here. I had some concrete down here, but I already put that away. I'll show you in a minute. These are two of the last three poles that we need for the poles for the shade cloth project that we're doing. And these guys are treated as poles, and all of the poles are treated, so we got that going on right now. He's just going to take a quick break so I can get this done. So we're going to start over here by the door like we normally do. We have the onions right here. Well, at least I have a onion right here. This guy right here. I have a sunflower right there that should be a chocolate cherry. I have sweet mint growing right here. We had a neighbor sweet mint, but that guy didn't make it. I don't know what happened. The raspberry plant is doing lovely. We're getting extra little leaves and whatnot. It is getting a little speckle sunburn, but I'm planning on trying to make some sort of shade kind of like wall in a sense right here, so that way when the sun comes down from that section, when it gets hotter, then it won't hit it as bad. We have regular just thyme right here, and then we have the carbon wine and rose thyme right here. So this little guy hiding under the dill is supposed to be a little bit different than this guy right here. And of course, like I said, we have the bouquet dill right here. And they mean bouquet because they give you this wonderful big bouquet right here. They start off with little yellow flowers and then end up with little pods. Butter, can you not right now? Get up. It's not a video without one crying. The rosemary that we had gotten last year is doing quite lovely actually. It's gotten a little bit bigger, so I'm kind of happy about that. My snapdragons here, this is an apple blossom snapdragons. Now it was hanging out way out here in the walk space, so I did just put a cage around it. This cage is actually upside down because I wanted the biggest section to be kind of like an anchor. But we do have another neighboring snapdragon. Now I don't remember what variety this particular one is, but it basically was doing what this guy does, where it just kind of flops over in whatever direction it so chooses, like that. So we have that. We have Hungarian black pepper right here. There was a poblano plant in here, but it's gone. The artichoke is getting big. I did take one of the leaves off on the bottom, kind of like that one over there, but it was completely yellow, just because it wasn't looking so great anymore. The artichoke is kind of covering parts of the sage right there, not shade. The was supposed to be purple zinnias. Yeah, zinnias are actually still orange and yellow. We have oregano and marjoram in this section of the garden here. We have one petunia hiding right there and a basil plant next to it. These guys are different types of squash. Now I do not remember which kinds they are because I just started putting squash plants randomly because I realized, one, I was running out of time. Two, I ran out of dirt for pots, so I was like, oh no. But we have some handfuls of other random little herbs over here. Now, down here in this little lovely speck of the woods is a tiny nasturtium plant right here and right here. This is probably a weed. Yep, definitely a weed. And then we have this lovely tomato plant that's just been chilling and hiding under this petunia plant for quite some time. Actually, didn't know it was there. And this petunia is the one that does the best as far as flowers go in comparison to that one over there, and it has a contender down the way. We have a watermelon sitting there and a random squash sitting over there, I do believe, if I'm correctly. This bean actually overwintered, which was kind of weird. We have some cabbage here. This should be the Tuscan cabbage. This should be my Copenhagen's right here. I have some red ones tucked in there somewhere. Amongst the broccoli that's obviously noticeable, there should be some, what's the white one? Cauliflower. Yeah, sorry, words are hard. So we have here a tiny little German pink tomato hiding. starting in this section here, we have Sweetheart Cherries and Blue Bubbles. The Sweethearts, I do believe, are in the front, and the Blue Bubbles are in the back. This one is Sweethearts and White Currants. I do believe the Sweethearts are in the front and a currant is in the back. I do believe, oh yes, no. So the Sweethearts are right here, and then the currants are over there, and then these guys are my Micro Toms. That purple bell pepper back there that just wants to hang on, so we're gonna try to baby it back to life. Sorry for the wind, guys. It's a little breezy today. We have Potato Row, as I keep calling it. These guys are getting pretty big and lovely. Now I wish I had more dirt that I could kind of tuck in there to give them more room, but I don't, unfortunately. Onyx, that is enough. We have the collard greens right here next door to them. Like I've said before, these ones were actually see if they would grow, but I actually might harvest them before it gets too late. We have a basil randomly that's probably going to move at some point. We have in the back a random squash that's being hidden by all the calendula, and then we have the yarrow right next door to it. That one I think is a mixed yarrow, to be honest, but these are orange and red, or orange and yellow calendulas. Right here we have, what are you? Summer squash. So that's probably a summer squash back there. We have summer squashes mixed in with what's left of my lettuce for the season. We have back here 2 little tomatoes. I have no idea which varieties they are. They were just there and I don't remember putting them there. We have this pretty petunia right here. Like I said, it's contending for the flower abundance as that guy way over there. You can kind of see him. Oh, look, a happy little bee in the flowers. Okay, moving on. We have different varieties of strawberries. So these big strawberries right here are my white alpine strawberries for white souls. And these little tiny strawberries right here are a mix of Quinton, I think is what it's called, and something else. But I have more strawberries in the house that I'm going to be putting in. I think they're Festival. I have a Duke Blueberry, and the weird thing is that my Duke Blueberry, the leaves are dry, completely crunchy, but the plant is still completely green, so I'm not sure what happened. It did get really hot one day, and it didn't have it like completely soaked, but I also repotted it, so it's like 1,000,001 reasons. The boysenberry plant has flowers. Look at that, guys. The last time I showed it, it didn't have nothing. It was just leaves. I'm so excited. I can't wait. So I'm hoping that this got pollinated. I don't remember if it's a self-pollinator or if it needs help, but I have that guy. A random potato that I had gotten angry at, actually, because it wouldn't go away or do anything, so I just shoved it over here, and now it's trying to grow, so I might get some teeny tiny potatoes off of it. My chocolate mint is actually not doing the greatest right now, and I might need to repot it, to be honest, but I definitely need to give it some kind of trim. Over here was try to rescue the squash, but failed. Right here is my Moon and Star watermelons. Now, I had one in the center, like you can see right here. This guy didn't quite fare so well. I'm actually gonna take him out. Yeet. Okay, so I had 2, and I was just trying to see like who was gonna be the best option kind of scenario. So they all live here. This I do believe is a 10-gallon, and if not, it's a 15-gallon pot that I got. Oh no, it's a 10-gallon. It's all scratched up. So this one has to be my 10-gallon because my 15 gallons are brand new. Next door is a lemon squash, I do believe. Yes, lemon squash. I put one singular one in a 5-gallon pot just to see how well it does compared to in a crowded scenario. This was my tray that I got actually absolutely everything out of. And as you can see, I forgot some. They weren't actually germinated at the time. Let me see if I can't get this guy off of there. Kind of help him out a little bit. So I think these ones are more Moon and Stars. I think these are my living things. And these are other different squashes and cucumbers and everything like that, and tomatoes that did not germinate the first time around. So I've been watering this and keeping it watered every day, hoping that maybe some of them are still there. This first row was Malabar spinach. A couple did sprout. Onyx, that's enough. But they didn't last. I don't know what was wrong with this batch, but they're there. Stop. The rest of my tomatoes, now I did not do any labeling on these tomatoes because I have them written down in a book in the row that they were in, but now it kind of doesn't matter, so stop. So we're just gonna have to figure out what's what later, but these guys should also be lemon squash as well. So all the squash here, besides this guy's a Waltman, they should all be lemon squash there. The rest of my melons over here, they were also a quick put them in a pot, hope for the best scenario. They've been doing okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 12 that did not make it fully, so we do have 6 left. My pretty chili peppers are coming back. We've gotten real long chili peppers. Well, hello little lizards, I see you over there. Now I know why there's been random eggs in my garden. Hi. Amongst this disaster is actually 2 very pretty lizards that are about 6 inches long. So back to the chili peppers. These guys overwintered beautifully. I did give them a little trim, just trimmed off anything that looked a lot like this, and kind of cut back what didn't make sense. As the wind blows. Get out of my pot, man. This one down here is my honey nuts. I had 4. There's only 2 that remain. Why is there a basil in my pots? Get out. Okay, so my basil next door is trying to seed into absolutely everything, so I might have to collect some of those seeds from there. But over here we have some more basil. Down there should be some more honey nut and Waltman squash. This guy right here has been through some stuff, but we're getting there. And we're flowering, so we're a little happier now. And moved in for some more sunshine, but we had a real bad aphid infestation, and we're getting it under control now, so. Oh, maybe not. Found the little buggers again. Excuse me, Wayne, I'm trying to do this. Thank you. Yeah, so this guy right here is just being attacked relentlessly. I have to come out and check for these every so often, but I've been using diatomaceous earth to try to be a little bit more gentler on everything, and it seems to be working wonders. I did use some pesticide, and it worked, but it wasn't exactly the exact results I was hoping for, and I didn't like the fact that I had to use it on my edibles, so yeah. Coming around to the other little fuzzy balls and the guy that's in trouble all the time that I keep yelling at. Beeped by a bug. Oh no, the aphids are back over here too. Worst feeling in the world, squishing bugs. Ugh. Not that I care that they're not dead, it's the fact that they're slimy. And it's gross. Feeling anyways. Alright, so we have our knockout rows right here. Excuse my hands, I've been moving concrete. Like I said, we have some, it's in that shed actually back there. I'm not about to open it with this blend. But we got lots and lots of new little buds here. Obviously we have lots and lots of new little aphids as well with those buds, so I'm going to have to do something about that as soon as this wind goes away, hopefully. But this guy's doing okay, so in a sense, because, well, not because of the aphids, but because of the heat. It kind of dried it out a little bit, so I'm going to have to hope some of that comes back. If you do see leaves with these little holes cut out of them, like these guys right here, those are cutter bees. Those little boogers, I cannot get rid of legally. They are guarded and protected because they are solitary little living creatures, and they will just kidnap your leaves little bits at a time in little groups because they go on field trips apparently, and they will go make themselves some homes and little nurseries and whatnot. So they're cute, they're adorable, they're small, but they're a pain in my butt. So down here, I was mentioning that I have a vining flower that I will show you guys as soon as it pops up. And this little here is my cantabelles, I do believe they're what they're called. They're a purpley flower. They are in a bell shape with a little tutu at the bottom of them looking thing. So I can't wait. It does look like I may or may not have one here that could be basil. Like I said, basil has gotten everything. This lovely right here is my carrot. I do believe it is a black nebula carrot. It was the only one left in there other than, where is it? It's hiding over there. There's another carrot. I think that one's orange. Just a regular orange. But it was in here and I was waiting for it to get bigger so I could pull it and just eat it, but it started producing a flower. So help me with these people and the construction around here. Obsidian, don't you dare. Don't you do it. Yeah, you, mister. Yeah, thank you. So we're letting him go to seed, and then if I can harvest it afterwards, I just might. Hiding down there may or may not be some violas. We'll find out as soon as they get big enough. Right here is my jalapeno that I got with my chili pepper plants, which is the other one right back here. And this one I already got 2 off of here, and they are ginormous looking. Oh my goodness, look at those. I just got them everywhere so far. Here, and there's more flowers. And, oh, those guys fell off, but flies. But yeah, so we've got some flower loss because of the heat all of a sudden. We've got basil randomly down there, but for the majority of the reason it came completely back and it has a ton of fruit on it, so I'm super excited. This little guy here, you can tell he's kind of yellow. I don't know if it's because I watered him too much, if the aphids got a hold of him too much, or what exactly happened. But this is the only one that gives me rose hips, and this one here is my Playboy. So we are just kind of letting it be. I may or may not have some spider mites. If these flies don't stop. So we're just gonna like let the leaves kind of do its thing. A good majority of the plant is green and flowering, so we're gonna call that we're doing good but not quite happy. So we're just gonna hope for the best, and hopefully that shade that we're gonna give it will make it turn around, and then I'll figure out a watering schedule that better suits it. Get out of the garden space. I don't have to go over there. You too. Out, out. You already know better. Get out. Out. Come on. Don't paw at me. Come here. Out. You know better. This is a daily. Every 5 seconds I'm in here because they want me to pet them and I'm not, and they're all mad about it. So these guys are my other secondary potato row. We do have some Chinese long beans in here. They are going to vine up these lovely little hoops that I made out of they're H supports that you put for concrete, like for walls and stuff. So you lay like your freaking flies. You would lay like your layer of brick, and then you would put this on top of the mortar, and then you would put more mortar on top of that, and you put your next layer of brick. So that's basically what those are. They're super cheap for me because I got them free $99 because I have a wall redone. But you can get them at your local Home Depot or anywhere else like that, and they're a couple bucks. They're not the super best for sturdiness, but if you can't get kettle panels, just saying. We have some more over here. We have the green and red variety. The kale that was in here, it's still there. But it's just, that's all it is there. It's just really tiny and small and not worth anything. It didn't do so well this year. The broccoli that I have over here, the 2 that I had bloomed out, that one did first, and you can kind of see maybe buzzing around as a happy bee. But we have the broccoli here. Now I am getting more broccoli shoots, and as I so desire to have these little broccoli shoots as a snack, I've been leaving them so that way I can get more flowers to get more seed pods. Because I plan at some point in the winter to do a whole row of nothing but broccoli, and I need more seeds. This guy here is my eggplant. I think this one is supposed to be my 3-pound eggplant. I never got an eggplant off of it last year, and I'm really hoping that this year I get one. So I just want to try it. I'm not a fan of eggplant, which is why I have one plant. But I really just want to try the eggplant to see if maybe just the way it was cooked is what my problem was. And if not, I'm just going to go to the store and buy another eggplant. Alright, down here we have a German pink tomatoes. There's one there and one right over here. These guys I put here hoping that, well, one, I can kind of use this little tomato vine thing that I'm just kind of using for this guy here, which that's actually pretty woody. And another is so that way maybe they'll have a little bit more shade, because I'm wondering if that's been my biggest problem. I just had a bee say hello. The jalapenos over here are starting to bloom, which is really lovely. So I'm going to get jalapenos off of my big jalapeno plants here soon. So I'm super excited for that. Down here we have Hubbard squash. So the really, really big blue Hubbard squashes. Or they're table Hubbard squashes, so I assume they're big. We have ground cherries. Now I've gotten a few ground cherries off of these plants. That one over there is not faring so well. Like I said, we hit like 95 degrees overnight, so it didn't do as amazing as I'd hoped. But we do have some pole beans over here, runner type beans. So we have them sitting, or I have them sitting next to my jalapeno poles right here, and I was kind of hoping I can intertwine them up as they go and just kind of make a little fun thing out of that. My Sugar Rush peach came back. Now I should have a poblano hiding amongst them somewhere. It might be that guy way over there, but it also might be the dead one, so we're not entirely sure, or at least I'm not entirely sure. Yes, it says for the squash, sorry to change subjects abruptly, it says Table Queen Acorn Squash. That is what those squashes are. So any squash over here is a Table Queen Acorn Squash. Sorry, I got distracted. ADHD moment. For those who know, you know. Alright, we have some bush beans planted amongst here. We have some dragon tongue, which are probably those. We have some regular blue lake beans and a few other varieties. Now, my cats do dig in here, so I'm not entirely 100 aware what and why it is, because they like to move stuff. So I'm hoping that some of them are easily recognizable, and I'm going to have to start planting some more beans here soon. But we have plenty and plenty of basil that keeps just popping up out of nowhere. The basil that was over here, it's just been crazy seeded. I have every square inch that's over here has basil somewhere. At least one basil plant is somewhere. We have my Rio Sombra. That rose, I've gotten 3 or 4 flowers off so far. It's trying its best to come back. As you can tell, it's had some struggles. It could be because of my watering. It could be because of just where it is entirely. It could be because of aphids like to attack this poor little guy. You seem a little floopy. I just watered over here. Or maybe I didn't water enough. I'll water later. So we're just gonna see how that goes. I try to water at night more than I have during the day. Sorry if I keep going up and down. I saw some stuff that don't belong. But I'm gonna hopefully get a schedule where it works best soon. Speaking of beans, I do have some more beans kind of tucked over here. If you guys can tell, there is 100 little basils. I swear, there's like 100 over here. They're like tiny, some not tiny. This guy's a weed. This guy's a weed. But yeah, so I have lots and lots of basil. My Purple Prince Zeon has just exploded. Now, I was not aware how big this plant gets. Now, when they said 2 to some odd feet or whatever, I was like, yeah, right. It's gonna be small. All my plants are small. No, this guy, he loves where he is. So we hopefully maybe can get another one either this year or next year. Probably next year, because I don't think that they have them closer to summertime. And that's a horrible time to plant them anyways. I have one snapdragon. This little beauty here is red when it blooms, but all of these little pods right here were already bloomed, and I got seeds from them already for some of them, so I have to come words work. I have to come back out here and collect the seed pods. I do not know where the seeds come from on this guy here. I have yet to figure out a seed situation, if this even gives any seeds at all. So I'm wondering if there's actually more than one plant here at some point. But for now, it's just one Xeon plant and a snapdragon. Now, I had planted a marigold over here once upon a time last year. And by one marigold, I literally mean one survived. I had like 6, which is where this little huckleberry was planted, was last year. And they lived right here. And now I have over 20. Just right there. Just over 20 immediately right now. And then there's some right here. I had some petunias planted over here. Not petunias, pansies planted over here, but they never grew. But the marigolds did. I have some spinach here. Tucked under there is also spinach. The Xeon was originally a good foot away from the spinach when I planted the spinach, and then when the spinach started growing, it was 4 inches away from the spinach, and now you can't see the spinach. I actually have to push the plant back just to harvest, which is kind of nice because then it hides it from the heat, and then I still get spinach. But like I said, this is my huckleberry. I have little ladybugs all over my huckleberry. I had little ladybug babies all over my huckleberry because this thing was just crawling with aphids. Nothing I did touched it. So, good bugs to the rescue. I will let them live amongst the garden rent-free. And then over here is just another view of what I got going on here. So yeah. So, the piece de resistance, the entire purpose of showing you anything in this garden is these guys over here. Now, these guys over here are my poles for my shade cloth. We have 10-foot poles, and they are 2 feet down, making them 8 feet tall, making them line up to the top of the roof line right there where it comes down. So it's just kind of as even as possible. So we actually got those 2 other poles to go here. My husband did come out here when we got home, and he measured 8 feet. This pole right here is actually perfect. We're gonna have to pull the fence back, clear some of this stuff out, and then dig the hole like we did over here. But we're going to do that for every pole. Now, I did have him mark where the other pole is gonna go, but we are gonna have to like remeasure and adjust accordingly, because I'm not 100 if that is like the perfect spot or not. So we're gonna hope for the best on that one as soon as we get to it. I wanted to do it today, but I don't think the wind's gonna let me. So, but yeah, so we have these guys here. They're 4 feet apart. Like I said, they're 10 feet tall technically, but 8 feet out of the ground. We are going to attach them at some point to the actual fence here, because the fence is falling, and for me to get a non-permit permit kind of scenario, it needs to be attached to the falling fence to make it a non-permanent, to make this a permanent structure, and to make my shade cloth a non-permanent structure, because this is permitted in and this is not. So that's kind of how we're doing it. We already talked to the town. We already have that clearance. This is how we got away with that before we started. Now my husband broke the fence a little right here because he was trying to one-man a limb from this tree, and he didn't pull it enough or hard enough or something like that, and so it kind of dented the fence, which is kind of a purpose of why we're doing it that way, is fixing it to where it doesn't fall. So we're gonna have the shade going across. We're gonna have 2x8s up top. We're gonna have some shade cloth going across here. We're gonna brace along down here as well. So for those who'd be like, don't forget to brace, don't worry, we're getting there, we're getting there. So we're gonna have that going across. Now, he did talk to me at some point that we might have it like attached over here on the roof line, or maybe like over here on the actual structure itself, about a retracting feature where you can like turn a handle on a device and then it will roll the shade up. We haven't gotten to that part yet. For now, we're just gonna staple it over there and call it a day. So, but going through here, this is a 24-foot stretch, which means that my garden is roughly 24 feet on this section. I think it's actually like 20-ish feet for the actual bed itself, but the walk space anyways. That pole right here is actually 24 feet, so it does go right to the edge of my bed. But we're gonna have it stop right here at the tree line, so we're gonna probably trim back some of these little branches, which shouldn't be too bad, but it does need a little trim. Now we do have some branches over in this area that I may just let back down. Because I had pinned them back instead of trimming them. We do have a few other branches that I desperately want to trim because they hang down too low. But he just shoved it into the tree to get it out of my way at the moment. So that's pretty much it for that. The tree does provide a pretty decent amount of shade. Like you can see, it stretches way out there, and when the sun's just right, it covers that whole section. So this area is the coolest area in the entire garden, back here by the tree. And this section I had watermelons in, and I had squash in. The squash didn't do so great, so that's why I put them further out, but the watermelons did amazing because I had them in pots, and I have that other one in a pot. So I'm hopefully going to tuck it back along the fence area here. My ultimate goal is for them not to attach to the fence again, but hopefully maybe I can get like another kind of hoop set up to where they'll come up and go over on that. But my hoops aren't exactly the strongest when they're high, so I'm hoping that they'll suffice for his small section. But that's it for you guys right now. Thank you guys for watching. Here's another kind of different angle from the garden area, little pan view. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna have some lunch, we're gonna get those poles put away, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!